This, from the beginning, was a doomed relationship. He saw him say, I'm gonna make sure that everybody here knows it ain't me, it's you.
And it's a decision I'm making is to, get a spark offensively.
Well, it seems that Russell Wilson's time with the Denver Broncos is over. No more. There's no more Broncos country. Let's ride. It's done. And a lot of people are weighing in on the fact that they feel like he was treated wrongly inside of the organization. Now, I'm somebody who agrees to this. I think the way that they were handling Russell was wrong. I think that was wrong. At the same time, a lot of people are saying, well, why should we feel bad for Russ? He's making all this money. And that's a line that a lot of people use all the time when it comes to these athletes. I think that's the wrong way to think about it. If the money's on the table for you to take, you better take it, because as soon as you're not useful anymore, these organizations are going to try to cheat you out your money, flip you to the curb, whatever. They're not going to have any sympathy for you, so why should you have any sympathy for them? Russ did the right thing, keeping his money, not taking the incentive. I would have been very upset if he would have took his incentive off the table. And the incentive, I believe, was some type of injury incentive. If he was to get hurt, they owe him more money. I think it was like $39 million or something like that, some big number. Either way, I think he did the right thing. And we're gonna listen to a little bit more of Ryan Clark talking, and then we're going to react to some of the points that he's making in this video.
Like, Sean Payton has punched down on Russell Wilson, who was already beaten down in 22, worse than any media member, worse than any competitor, worse than any opponent.
I remember last year when Russ wasn't playing that well. I think he's playing well now, but at the same time, I remember last year he was getting cooked every single week. There'll be like a Russ play. It was almost like shacking the fool for football. Russ was making all kind of bad plays. It was kind of funny in a way, but then it was kind of sad because I personally am a big Russell Wilson fan. I think he, or at least was, a great player. But as time went on and I started to listen to Marshawn Lynch, I started to listen to Richard Sherman, I started to listen to these other guys talk about things behind the scene that I didn't know about personally, my look and the way that I perceived Russ was a lot different. And I think a lot of people had the same reactions that I had, especially when in terms of when Marshawn Lynch came out and talked about the phone situation, the teammate thing, about him calling the agent just to get in contact with Russ and not getting his number, and other little things that went on. Richard Sherman gave his view about how Russ was getting treated differently than the rest of the players, and the players talked to Pete Carroll about it, and Pete Carroll was like, it's fine. It was a lot of little things, and I kind of looked at Russ a little differently, you know what I'm saying? I was like, hey man, Russell's my guy. Russell's it. But then you find out other things, and then I kind of like, I don't have that same feeling for Russ. And then now it's changing. I feel a little bit more sympathy for Russ than I would have had last year when he wasn't playing that well. A lot of people were piling on Russ, and now it's like, man, Russ is starting to pick it up just a little bit. And I think it's because I believe that deep down Russ is a good and genuine person, and you kind of feel bad for him in a way, but at the same time, it's a business, and I don't feel bad that he's getting cut. If they want to cut him, then let him go. But at the same time, to walk up to this man and say something about that money, I think that was foul at the end of the day. But let's continue to rock through this rabbit hole.
His behavior as a head coach, as it pertains to that quarterback, is unacceptable. And if it was anybody other than Sean Payton, right, we would be pointing that out.
From preseason games, but regular season games. And, he's a guy that, I'm anxious to see play. And if I didn't feel like he gave us the chance to win, then we wouldn't be making that move.
Now look, I'm not expecting Sean Payton to come out and just say, hey, we are trying to save money here, and that's why we bench Russ. We know that's why. But at the same time, you don't have to just flat out lie to us. You know that Jarrett Stidham gives you no chance to win. Maybe he comes out and slings it, maybe. I don't know. But I don't believe that he will. Maybe I'll be wrong about that. Jarrett Stidham comes in there, lights it up. But he's been on a couple teams now, and those teams saw that, hey, he's not, that good. He's probably just a good, okay backup. And that's fine in the NFL. More good backups are needed, all right? At the same time, though, don't lie to us like that, Sean. Don't do that. Y'all tried to get this man to take less or change his incentive. I keep saying take less, but they try to get him to change the incentive because if he got hurt, y'all owe him this money. And the fact that he said no, y'all decided to bench him. It's kind of weird that y'all are doing it now. I guess y'all wanted to see if, you know, he would just light it up or something like that, but then that wouldn't make sense either, because if he lights it up, then why did you go and ask him in the first place? The logical thing is that y'all didn't believe that Russ was the guy then, and he's not the guy for y'all now, and that's fine. But don't lie to us like that, Sean. But let's look at what Russ had to say about this situation, because he confirms what a lot of people were believing, because at first it was just reports. People were saying it's just a reporter's report. We don't know if this is true or not, but since Russ is coming out and saying this, I do believe that this is true, because Russ doesn't speak like this often. So it's very interesting. Let's take a look.
During we beat the Chiefs, they came up to me during the bye week, and beginning of the bye week on Monday or Tuesday, and they told me that if I didn't change my contract, my injury guaranteed, that I'd be I'd be benched for the rest of the year. And so I think we had 9 games left or so. I was definitely disappointed about it.
Like, what has Sean Payton done that is so exceedingly great? He is above treating people with professionalism and respect. He won one the last time I checked.
And I agree with that. It's not like Sean Payton has just been lighting up the league these last few years when he was with New Orleans. I remember like a couple years ago, man, the defense was so bad. It might have been like 2012 or something like that. And it might have been all the way up to 16, maybe 2015-ish. Those defenses were so bad, I feel bad for Drew Brees, man. I was like, Drew Brees putting up all kind of points, and they still was losing. And so when they got beat by 70, in my mind, I was thinking Sean Payton has had some bad defense. Now, later on, the defense started to come on, and then Drew Brees got old. So I was like, you missed your opportunity, Sean. You missed it. It was right there. Drew Brees was still playing at an elite level, and your defense was bad. And then Drew Brees started to tell off, your defense finally gets good, you finally get it right. But Sean Payton, especially in some of those years down with the Saints, he has had some bad defenses. And on top of all of that, how long ago was that championship? You know who Sean Payton reminds me of? Doc Rivers. He reminds me so much of Doc Rivers, living off that one chip, making a career off that one chip. Now, I'm not saying that he will have that same thing. Maybe he wins a championship with the Broncos in a few years. I know Doc is commentating now, I think, and so he may get back into coaching at some point in time, but right now he's not coaching. And so I'm not saying that, you know, Sean Payton's gonna go through that same thing. I don't know, but his trajectory may look that way. He did go to Fox for a little bit. I think it was Fox, not ESPN. I think he went to Fox. He was on there for a little bit, and so I can see Sean Payton leading the similar or leading a same, like, you know, trajectory, just like Doc Rivers. He's basically the NFL version of Doc Rivers. And I like Doc, and I like Sean Payton in terms of coaches, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're living off those, you know, one solo championships, which, hey, it's hard to get to that one. So you got to applaud them for that. So let's look at one more thing, and I think RC is going to summarize his feelings on this situation perfectly.
I'm not saying that Russell Wilson has played superior elite level quarterback. He's played good, but I don't believe he's played in a way that I feel like a team should be like, yeah, he's our guy going forward. But I also don't feel he was supposed to be treated the way Sean Payton has treated him this year.
And I think that summarizes this entire situation perfectly. It's not the fact that Russell's getting benched, it's the way that they have handled this situation. And I agree with RC. It just seems like Sean Payton came through the door and wanted to cement his presence so harshly that it comes off as arrogant. Like, I'm Sean Payton, I know more than all of y'all, and y'all gonna do what I tell you, gonna get in line. It's almost as if he's running a boot camp. And it feels like almost a high school team over there. It's like he's trying to assert his dominance in a way, which you have to bring and, you know, let your presence be known, but the way that he's doing it just comes off just way wrong. And I'm fine with Russ being benched. I don't believe that Russ is the future for the Broncos. Okay, I don't believe so. I think Russ is playing good. I think he's playing well, but the future of the Broncos, especially with the way that team is playing, the way that the other people are playing on that team, I don't necessarily think he's the answer. I think Russ needs to go somewhere where the team as a whole is better. The defense is not as good as it was last year. They're better than they were earlier in the year, but they're definitely not as good as they were last year. And so you have you know, weapons that aren't necessarily producing the way that you want them to. I'm not sure what their running game is looking like, but I don't think it's looking that impressive, and everything just is not going right over there. So I think he just needs another slate, maybe like a Baker Mayfield or something like that. He needs to go somewhere else where there's a little bit more structure surrounding that building, and so we will see where he goes. And it's odd though, I want to talk about this for 1 second. It's odd to me that people are actually saying that Russ should have changed his contract. I'm never in favor for anybody, especially these players, to change their contract in order to help a team, take a pay cut, take all these things. People talk about, oh, well, you don't want to win if you don't take a pay cut. Look what Tom Brady did. Look, comparing anybody to Tom Brady immediately devalues the argument, because Tom Brady is and always will be an anomaly. Okay, so to say that, well, Tom Brady did it, you should do it, no, it's not the same. Get your money. Get your money. That's what I say to anybody. Get your money. And you're talking about, well, the team. Well, look, when the team ships you off and you don't have any money, it's gonna be your fault. All right, you don't take pay cuts. All right, and a lot of people say, well, it's millions of dollars. Look, I don't care how much money it is. I know if somebody comes to my job and say, look, we need to hire somebody else here, we need them because it will make our lives easier and make things flow better, but we need you to take a pay cut, I'm gonna look at them like they crazy. Y'all are out y'all minds if you think I'm gonna take a pay cut and I don't make millions of dollars. I don't care. I'm not taking no pay cut. And why should you expect somebody who is making millions of dollars and being paid by billionaires to take a pay cut too? Y'all crazy. I'm glad these players aren't taking pay cuts. These QBs are getting paid a lot of money. Don't pay no pay cut. Up the ante on them. Up the ante on. Now, do I think the market for QBs is oversaturated? Is it going crazy? People like Daniel Jones getting paid lots of money. Do I think it's crazy? Yeah. Do I think it may need to be a reset in the market? Yeah, I think so. I think the running backs aren't getting paid enough. But at the end of the day, you get paid what the market says you should get paid until the player association comes around and change that. All right. And so get your money while you can, because you never know when it might be gone. All right. With that being said, though, let me know what you think about this situation. Do you agree with RC? Do you think that Sean Payton may be doing a little bit too much over there? And it's odd, though. Do you think Sean Payton is overrated? That's something I didn't necessarily touch on, but what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video.